Coming up this week on the OK Bloomer podcast.
I was going to say, you were the problem. You laughed too hard at that first one. They're like, oh, we got something here. We got to beat this like a dead horse for the next 23 minutes. What, when he got gurgled up?
Yeah, when he got gurgled up the other day there. You know what I mean? He was just getting gurgled up all over the place. He's having a rough go. And then, I don't know, man. All I wrote here was like, why is this guy around? He sucks.
Tony has to sit there and think about Dylan and Rhonda Joe Beverly Hills 90210 face.
Don't know about the future. Don't.
They don't care about the future, because they live it in the past. Sal and Curtis are taking all 5 seasons of Blossom to task. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be weak in the knees. This show's got more range than this on the keys. Only gal in the house, and that's how she goes. One brother was a junkie, and the other one was. Weekly lessons coming fast in the Russo flat. Blossom's teenage girl problems are as big as her hat. So take your opinionations and make them shine. It's the OK Bloomer podcast, and it's about damn time.
Don't know. Don't know.
We're back. You're watching the OK Bloomer podcast right here on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. Is there technical difficulties? No? We're good? We're going?
We're good?
No, he says keep going. We're going. We're live, folks.
Okay, cool.
It's the OK Bloomer podcast. I'm Curtis Anderson alongside Sal Accardo. We are watching every episode of Blossom and giving you our thoughts as two adult males watching a 1990s sitcom aimed at high school-aged girls. It's been an absolute wild ride so far, and we are already in season 3, Sal. And wow, what just some absolute left field storylines coming at us. We thought Buzz was gone. Buzz is still here. We have these 2 new characters.
No, he's not.
That are like gonorrhea. They just won't go away, no matter what you do. They are there forever.
Yeah, well, nobody asked for this podcast, and here we are.
Yeah.
And nobody asked for these new characters, but it seems like they're sticking around in season 3. So we're just gonna have to deal with it, Curtis.
I want to jump into this because we are just on this absolute crazy ride of what this show is slowly becoming, as it seems to just I don't even know. It started out Blossom, high school girl problems, and we have just gone all over the place, and it zigged when I expected to zag. And to its credit, it has kept us on our toes. And this isn't a show where there's nothing to talk about. And I guess that's the strength. And I guess that so far is the biggest takeaway of doing this podcast. It's not like we're bored trying to make up stuff. We're actually legitimately engaged in these weird decisions that are constantly happening at a lightning pace every single episode, and trying to rationalize and make fun of sometimes. Right?
Yeah,
That's the whole point. We're just having fun here, folks.
The good thing for us is that there is a podcast, because there is stuff to talk about with this show. Which
sometimes we wax nostalgia for the 90s. I mean, it's all over the place. I'm just gonna say it. It's a perfect podcast. If you're not on board, that's on you and not us. Like, I don't even know what to tell you.
How dare you?
If you don't want to see a couple old white guys talk about Blossom for an hour, I mean, you should probably look in the mirror, because you're the problem.
I don't know what anybody wants if that's the case.
Right?
I don't know what anybody would want.
What are we doing here? Why are we on this spinning rock? Just like grinding day to day. What's it for? If you can't take
we'll
joy.
We'll get to it by the end of 5 seasons.
We'll figure it out.
We'll find the answer in the meaning of life.
Are we talking about Blossom? Are we talking about the Russo house, or life as we know it? These are big stakes, folks. These are big stakes.
We're tackling all these issues just like this show did in the 90s.
Just like big stakes, I have to ask the question, Sal. Is there a cure for love? No cure.
No, there is not.
This is why Phenom does it. Phenom.
Do you want the...
Go.
Great start.
Season 3, episode 3. No cure for love? ? First aired Monday, August 24th, 1992. IMDb says Nick is cleaning the house. Vinny and Blossom want different things from their relationship. Joey fears it was his fault. A girl he dumped got into an accident. TV Database says Tony is depressed about splitting up with Rhonda. Blossom is happily in love with Vinny until he suggests they should see other people. Joey thinks it is his fault that the girl he split up with was in an accident.
Okay.
And Disney Plus says Blossom learns that Vinny wants to see others.
Once again with a huge spoiler. Phenom.
Yeah.
This Sal. So I was also, when I was looking at things happening in the summer of 1992, a few episodes ago when we kicked off season 3, I just thought for cultural reference. And then I got down I fell down this rabbit hole of just Blossom, and I ended up on this Reddit thread. And I've saved it till I kind of forgot about it, but I brought it back out for this episode. So, Phenom, someone on Reddit asked if Blossom was a good show. And a mere 7 months ago, Acanthroperty GII Cool 5 wrote
Shout
this. Take it away, Phenom.
I'm glad you were the one that took a crack at that name.
Acanthroperty.
Acanthroperty G Cool 5 says, "It was actually good for a 3-camera comedy of its time. It was for teenagers, but I was a single adult in the moment who secretly watched episodes. Blossom wasn't a standard sitcom heroine. Refreshing. They tackled bulimia, date assault, racism. People joke about a very special episode of Blossom today, 30 years later, because those episodes were impactful at the time. I mean, was it good? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was good. Saved by the Bell was so bad it was good. Blossom is maybe in the middle there."
That's pretty good, hey?
That's a fair assessment of the show.
But what knocked me off my chair at first before I got into the really good stuff was a 3-camera show?
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. So that's just a thing. The sitcoms were 3-camera shows. How am I the last to
Yeah,
know
it's a
about
set
this?
where you don't see one wall, right? I would assume every sitcom that's shot like that is a 3-camera show.
Yeah, never really thought. about
That's
how
your
many cameras
takeaway
they
from
used.
that entire synopsis? Was
No,
that
no, but just at
Blossom's
first, where it was like for
Oh.
a 3-camera, and I was like, what? Oh, okay. So you'd add 2 stars if there was a 4th camera. It was just such a weird something that really took me out of the moment.
I think the thing is that, like, I think every sitcom that at that time, like any sitcom that had a live studio audience, was a 3-camera sitcom.
Okay.
But now the way that they do sitcoms, they call it like single camera shoot, where it's like there's cutaways and there's, it's like more shot like a movie than it is like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert on this, but like I know that sitcoms are almost shot like a play. Like everything is shot in order and it's done on a stage, and there's 3 cameras picking off like every character and every scene. Whereas like in a sitcom now, like something like a 30 Rock or like The Office, it's all one camera and it's shot with like cutaways and close-ups and that kind of thing. That's what he means by that.
I have never thought
those-
about that in my life until now.
Yeah, all sitcoms are
amazing.
3-camera. Yeah.
See, I'm learning.
I mean, does that mean that there's only 3 cameras? I don't know for sure, but when it's that kind of a setup, they call it like a 3-camera shoot.
So Stripped Down Live, the
inside
music show that's
baseball
still
for
going
you.
on that you worked on all those years ago, that would basically be a 3-camera. Because it's like live things are happening and you're just cutting between the 3 cameras.
Your show, also on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network, would also be a 3-camera shoot.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know there was just such a like structured format to sitcoms back in the day, where like you're putting together a sitcom and okay, I'm choosing the 3-camera comedy.
Well, it's a lot of people now. Like I know a lot of people's gripe with something like The Big Bang Theory. Mine was that it wasn't funny. But a lot of people's gripe is that like they went with the format of like the 3-camera shoot with like a live studio audience, and you have like the set of the apartment where one wall is cut out and you always shoot on that angle. Whereas like, you go and watch another show, like I'll take 30 Rock as an example, because that's a great sitcom. Arrested Development did it too, where it was like,
That's
like
the one I was thinking
it's
of.
not done in a studio. Like they would shoot it. Modern Family did it that way. Like a lot of sitcoms now get away from that, the laugh track and the,
Absolutely.
like,
No,
yeah.
this is me just not knowing. That's all good stuff. Like I legitimately learned something right now. I never thought about that transition between how it used to be shot on stage with 3 cameras to shot like a movie now. Crazy. Yep, there it is. All right. Well, let's keep going. let me have this, okay? Let me have this.
It's all yours.
The cold open is back, Sal.
It is.
Unfortunately. I actually
for better or for worse.
I actually called the Phenom downstairs to watch this cold open. Okay?
Wow.
Nick is vacuuming the stairs, Sal.
Yeah.
Tony is sitting on his ass on the couch doing nothing, and he looks up and he tells Nick to hire someone to clean the house. Just hire someone.
Yeah, and I'm like, does Nick have the money for this? I thought he didn't
Every
have a job.
other episode is how Nick is poor and struggling to pay bills and rent. Instead of getting a real job, he continues to be a mopey musician while Adam Durtzing every woman in the town. Anyway, Nick
Accurate.
tells Tony he doesn't want strangers coming into his house and wrecking stuff. And then he falls down the stairs. 21 seconds that scene was before we go to the intro. And
Dude,
I
I
quit.
have to say,
I
though,
quit. I quit, Sal.
I
wrote, I quit. This is what broke me.
Wow, we differ on this because I have to say, like, when he bailed down the stairs, I was not expecting that, and I laughed my ass off. It was so funny.
Okay.
But
this sets the tone of one of, here we go again, the absolute weirdest episodes of Blossom. This is like Blossom, the slapstick physical comedy edition. What happened this week, Sal?
I took note of, like, that's Nick's whole story in this episode is just like stupid slapstick comedy. But the first time when he bailed down the stairs, I was like, that's great. But they go to this well one too many times.
I was gonna say you were the problem. You laughed too hard at that first one. They're like, oh, we got
bailed down
something
the
here.
stairs.
We got to
It was
beat this
so
like a dead
funny.
horse for the next 23 minutes. All right. It asks if
what
I
can
want
I
to
say?
skip the intro. I sure don't. And the Corel draw filter instead of too many cooks once again, Sal. I don't know. I'm still getting used to it. I don't hate it. I'm warming up to it. But
Well, get used to it because it apparently sticks around for the remainder of the series.
just like us, get used to it.
Yeah, right.
Anthony still hasn't left the couch. Sure,
No.
he used to be an alcoholic, but at least I bet he was somewhat productive when he was gurgled up.
Gurgled up? What does it even mean?
That was just the euphemism I came up on the spot with for getting drunk. I was hoping you wouldn't call me on it. We could just start using it. You
I
would
immediately
just
did.
adopt it. Like my favorite part of taping these
Oh, you know.
OK Bloomer episodes is getting gurgled up with you, Sal.
Yeah, how we gurgled up and
Just gurgled
recorded
up
a
and kept it
Blossom
rolling.
podcast. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, so he's clearly depressed. He's been saving Rhonda's hair since they broke up, so they split. It still hasn't drove him to drinking, but he's split. And I was like, man, Tony's had a rough go lately.
Yeah, season 3 has just not been good
fell
for
off
this
the
guy.
wagon, and now is it falling off the wagon or is it being back on the? I don't know.
What, when
Either
he got
way.
gurgled up?
Yeah, when he got gurgled up
When you got
the other day there, you know what I mean? He was just getting gurgled up all over the place. He's having a rough go.
Sounds
then
better when
Blossom-
you say it. I don't know. Got gurgled up. Luckily, who saves the scene? Blossom comes spinning into the living room wearing a red knitted giant sweater and my boxer shorts.
Okay.
That's literally, I have boxer shorts that look like her shorts at one point in my life. So she's just wearing men's boxer shorts. Yep.
Yeah. So
And so we learn Rhonda Joe Applegate finally dumped his gurgled up ass, and they missed an opportunity. I thought after I made this joke now, and now I'm looking back reading it, knowing how slapstick comedy the rest of this episode is, and this fits even this is even truer. I said they missed a funny opportunity to have Anthony like bawling his eyes out and crawling around the back of his ambulance and like defibrillating himself and like gobbling up all the Narcan trying to numb his pain. And at the time, I thought that was funny, but knowing where this episode goes, that's actually really funny. That's really
Right?
specific for how
Yeah.
stupidly physical comedy this episode is about to get.
Yeah, he just does the defibrillators on himself and goes flying out the front door. There's just like a Tony shaped hole in the door.
There's a really bad like mannequin body with no arms or legs. It's just the loose clothing goes flying backwards out. Now that's good stuff.
Oh my god, that is comedy right there.
Don
That's what
Rio was one
that's
line
what Don
away
Rio's
from pulling
going
the
for.
trigger
Actually,
on that one.
we should get into it because I've been taking notes. This episode was written by Glenn Mertzer and it was directed by Ted Wass,
Yep.
who is Nick.
Yeah. Which is I don't know. I would have taken my name off this one personally.
Yeah.
Yep. Anthony caresses her hairbrush and says, out of everything with Rhonda Jo Applegate, he misses her hair the most. Personally, I'd miss her cleavage, but whatever. Maybe that's why they broke up. Who knows? Allison's back, Richmond's back, Goldstein and Price says, come on, schmuck, give me a schmuck episode. Take the lead writing away from Rio, but no. Glenn Mercer's back as producer and writer. And I said, buckle up, Ted Weiss directs this. Yep.
And boy, does he ever.
He sure does.
Yeah, so Blossom's kind of cocky here, and she's like talking to Tony about like how he'll find true love like she has with Vinny. And he was like, for the first time in my life, Blossom, I would like to slap you in the face. and then Joey comes waltzing in. He had a date with Sybil last night. And then Tony, he's stalking Rhonda, apparently. He went to her house at midnight and he felt the hood of her car and it was still warm. So he's like, where was she last night? She must have gone out, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. He's stalking his ex-girlfriend here. And Six comes barging in, talking a mile a minute, and I can't track anything that she says. But the moral of her story is that she ended up seeing Luke Perry driving his motorcycle by on the street. And there was a funny little exchange where Blossom's like, no way. And she's like, totally, Kurds and way. I swear to God. I thought that was pretty funny. And then as she walks by Tony, she's like, oh, and like the weird thing was that she was seen with a girl who looked just like Rhonda. And that drives Tony even closer to the bottle this episode.
But apparently not.
No.
He only drinks when he's happy.
He's getting garbled up or whatever it is.
You missed one curious exchange, though. So sure. Anthony is like inhaling Rhonda Jo Applegate's hair. And he goes, where will I ever find hair so sweet like this again? And Blossom throws shade at Applegate and says, how about the dumpster behind Supercuts? And I was like,
yeah.
Have these two characters ever really interacted before? Like, what did Blossom think about Rhonda Jo Applegate? Because she's such an anti-Blossom, really.
Yeah.
They totally tried to, like, bring that character out on the level where she was a nude model, but, like, was still a good person. And then the last episode, they just went the other way. And they're like, she also slept with the entire football team, which, you know, that's about as opposite Blossom as we can get. So I was trying to think back if they ever had any interaction. And I
don't know if they did.
That's funny, because Blossom disliking that character really could have added some color to the last few episodes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Blossom tries to tell Anthony about love, and he wants to slap the taste out of her mouth. And Joey walks in wearing the exact same thing he was wearing last episode that I clocked. Like, that's suspicious. How lazy is it to tape multiple shows in one day, Sal? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
is that what they're doing?
I don't
thumbs
know.
down to that. That is a sign of laziness. Hammering multiple episodes out in one day. That's lame.
Right?
Thumbs down.
Yeah, that seems crazy. And like
that.
So Joey's on the phone with Sybil, and they're going to read poetry, and he is not down. He wants to break up with her because he doesn't want to turn her into washed up dead flesh like Rhonda did to Tony. Was his response.
I'm sorry, I had so much more to say here. Let me get caught up. So Anthony is stalking Rhonda Jo, and he's overacting. And did you notice the crowd sounds like middle schoolers? It is such a young sounding crowd, and they are just eating this up. They think this is hilarious that he's miserable and heartbroken. He's stalking his ex-girlfriend. I wrote in, quick, someone tag in Jenna Von Oy, and boom, Six bursts through the door. Once again, who has the stupid hat? It's Six. Her hat looks like a fitted sheet stacked on her dome and held together by clothespins. I have no idea what she was wearing. Then she does the thing with Luke Perry. And then, she says, Dylan from 902. Oh, sorry, let me take another run at this. Says, yes, Tony has to sit there and think about Dylan and Rhonda Jo. Oh, my God, I got to get this, okay? Third try, okay? This is a good joke. Stay with me, okay?
I'm waiting.
Tony has to sit there and think about Dylan and Rhonda Jo Beverly Hills 90210 face. It was worth the wait. It took me 3 times to get there. I got it. Okay? That's good stuff. And for the record, this studio audience full of children laugh once again at poor Anthony's pain. They think this is funny stuff. Yeah, Joey's been paired up with a goth chick, right? This episode.
Is that what it
And
is?
yeah, and
I
he's
thought
like,
she was just like a poetry nerd.
oh, it sounds like she's goth, and they're gonna read poetry and talk about their feelings. And they bring up Sylvia Plath, and Tony says she killed herself, and Joey goes, "I can see why. She couldn't even rhyme," which is a really dark joke.
Burn.
It was just lost on the 1992 crowd. Sybil's a vegetarian, and that's depressing and funny. And once again, Joey Lawrence is just like, again, he's playing chess when everyone else here is playing checkers on this show. He's just so good with this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he wants to dump her, but doesn't want to turn into a pile of useless rotting flesh like Rhonda did Tony. And for once, we go old school, and instead of Corel Draw, we have too many cooks, the exterior.
That's right. Tony comes back in, and Nick is scrubbing the floor, which is not a euphemism. He's back together with Rhonda, so that didn't take that long. He begged her to take her back, and then Joey comes in and says that he broke up with Sybil. He said, "We're good friends, so now I never have to see her again." And then there was something like,
ouch, the truth.
She
also, Anthony, once again, he's dressed like the Joker. Like, I can't get over it. He's just begging for that role 15 years later in The Dark Knight.
He's waiting for his future role to come up.
Right? He got it. To his credit, he got it. He got it in the movie.
And then there's a whole thing here where Joey's like, "Oh, you got back together with Rhonda? Then I guess you probably shouldn't listen to that message that I left for her." But the whole thing is like Nick is cleaning the floor, so they have to take their shoes off, and they're running around in socks, and they're like kind of sliding all over the floor while he's chasing him for that comment. And then Nick's kind of like laughing about it, and then I said he tries sliding around with his stupid mullet, and then he like slams into the front door. So there's that like slapstick part of it, but it only gets worse from here. It only continues to get worse.
When Joey first comes in the front door, Nick goes, "Take off your shoes. I'm waxing the floor." And he goes, "Oh yeah, I don't want to get my shoes all waxy. Thanks."
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty funny. But they start doing they're trying to chase each other on the floor after he basically left a. See, and at first I was like, oh, so he left a message like telling Rhonda Joe she sucks. But then I was like, oh no, it's a Joey. He left her like a dirty message as soon as they broke up.
Of course.
And then of course they're trying to run in their socks. It's like, and he's like, come here, I'll kills you. And Glenn Mercer's like back to like 1940 slapstick, and they just this is funny to someone.
You could have put
not me.
You could have put the Benny Hill
someone.
theme over this scene right here.
Could have what?
You could have put the Benny Hill theme over this scene right here.
So this man loves his physical comedy. Yeah, and I said, Nick, who I may remind you is directing this episode, hangs on a shot of him smiling as the kids run off for like 4 seconds. It's just this close up of him for no reason, just like.
Yeah.
And then he slides into the door. I said, Glenn Mercer just can't turn it off this episode.
Oh, just you wait. It only gets better. So Blossom and Vinny walk into the kitchen. Blossom says she thought that Sally Walden was going to have a cow when she saw us together. But Vinny won't tell his friends that he's dating Blossom. And I'm like, what? I thought they were in love and wanted to run away with each other 2 episodes ago.
Right?
Like he was fully willing to just like give up his entire life to run away with her. And now he doesn't want to feel trapped in a relationship is what he says to her. And then he wants to see other people. This is the episode that really made me turn on this character for sure.
For sure.
As if like he was hanging on by a thread as it is, but like just get rid of this character altogether. There's a freeze frame as it goes to commercial with the watercolor around Blossom's face. You have anything to add to that scene?
Oh, absolutely, I do.
Let's hear it.
I wrote the fact that she's never gone out with him and his buddies reminds me of the Chris Rock's 1999 inspirational smash hit, There's No Sex in the Champagne Room, where he quotes, "If you have been dating a man for 4 months and you haven't met any of his friends, you are not his girlfriend."
You are not his girlfriend.
Here comes the bad boy talk. He's like, "Look, Blossom, I really like sleeping with you. I just don't want to be seen in public with you." It's basically. Even though I don't think they've been intimate yet, but classic bad boy speech. So now we pull the trigger on this. So now he is a scumbag. Like, He wasn't,
Yeah.
then he was, then he.
Yeah, then,
I
yeah,
hate this character. I'm so
and
bored
they're
of
in
him
love,
already.
and then they're not. Like, I don't know, man. It's just, I feel like they don't know what to do with like Blossom having like a steady boyfriend on the show.
Well, this is just
like-
not the guy. This is not someone who would be attracted to Blossom.
Well,
Like they could have
you're
met
wrong,
halfway in
because
the
he
middle and
sticks
had
around
like
to the very end.
a normal looking guy, like or just a normal guy that had
Yeah.
like a troubled past that slowly comes out or something. But this guy is just not a good fit. And Blossom is wearing like a 70s couch cushion as a dress and rainbow leggings as she has to take this bad news. And I said, all right, here we go. I imagine, it's been 3 minutes without slapstick comedy. So I bet you when we come back from commercial break, Blossom's going to be riding a motorcycle with 6 in the sidecar down a street with an orange cart and 2 bumblers carrying a giant pane of glass.
I mean, close enough. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, really. So Nick
Yeah.
is
So
is
the
waxing
takeaway
the
is-
floor.
Vinny has not told his friends about Blossom. That's got to be a tough pill to swallow this late in
Yeah.
their relationship. Like they already
Right.
ran off
And now
together.
suddenly he just wants to see other people. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't
Oh yeah,
know.
but he
It's-
also
it's-
says it feels like he says dating Blossom feels like he's laying in the woods, trapped, trying to chew his own leg off to escape. I said, whoa, don't sugarcoat it, Vinny. Tell me how you feel.
right?
But yeah, he wants to see other people, and we corral draw into commercial break. And
right.
we come back. Did you hear this? As we're coming back, we have the Casio keyboard drum fill. Like, in those
No,
old
but-
keyboards when you hit like the demo, and it's like
The transition music this
Yeah.
season has been on fire, though.
Yeah, and I said, Merzer's got a Merzer, and Nick is buffering the floor, and the buffer is on the fritz.
Yeah. Yeah. And it pulls him right out the back door. I don't know what's
So
going on.
stupid.
Yeah. But Rhonda's there. She opens the door just as Nick goes flying out, and there's like a different angle of the kitchen that we haven't seen before.
I noted that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
said,
now the
Rhonda
roles
Joe
are...
and her cleavage is back. It must be in her contract. She cannot wear anything more than a tank top. And we get this weird perspective after Nick goes soaring out the back door, being dragged by the floor buffer, where you're in like you the viewers in the backyard, looking inside the house through the kitchen into the living room. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was different. It was a different view. So yeah, now the roles are reversed here, and Blossom's miserable, and Tony's in bliss. And she wants Nick to drive her, or sorry, she wants Tony to drive her in his ambulance to Vinny's house to see if his car is still there. And then as she leaves, Nick comes plowing back into the kitchen. It's just like back and forth. But there was a point in time where he goes sliding past the back window too, in the background. It's just, yeah, this is just not good. But it's revealed here that what Tony thought the brush that he was sniffing at the beginning was Rhonda's is actually Joey's. So there's that.
So, yeah, Rhonda says, "Do you know what I did after we broke up, Anthony? I found your blue bandana and I slept with it."
Yeah.
And Anthony's like,
Right.
"You know what I did? I found your hairbrush, then I almost threw the toaster in the bathtub with me."
Pretty much.
So then they make out in the kitchen, yeah, as Nick flies by the back window, still attached to the floor buffer, like he's an animaniac or something.
Yeah.
And I didn't clock that first conversation where Anthony was really broken up and stalking Rhonda Joe. But yeah, like you said, they're having the same conversation, he and Blossom, with roles reversed, and I can appreciate that writing. Anthony opens the door, and the floor buffer drags Nick back in the house. They do the hairbrush thing where it was actually Joey's, and poor Anthony stares into the camera, flashing back, thinking about all the perverted things he did to the brush when he and Rhonda were broken up. It's not good. It's not good. Once again, that's some White
It's not
Lotus
good.
stuff right there.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and here we go, man. Too many cooks, and Joey slides in dressed like Marty McFly for us, or Dipper from Gravity Falls for the Phenom.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah, he's got the like red, I don't know, Marty McFly.
The bubble vest and the...
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. He's rushing in with all these pieces of paper that I didn't know what they were. And he was like, I could have won $12 million. I don't know what they are. I don't know what that reference was to. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I skipped over all that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tony's on the phone and is clearly trying to tell Joey something very serious. And And then he tells him that one of his coworkers called him and that Sybil was in a car accident. And the only thing I could think of here is, first of all, how would his coworker know who Sybil is, and the fact that Joey even dated her, and they would think to call, you know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of things that don't connect here. Yeah, go for it. Question in the back, Curtis.
I I had the same thing, and I said
Yeah.
I can 100% guarantee you the call went, Tony, you got to get down here and see this hot dead goth chick. And then they started putting the pieces together, and he was like,
Yeah, totally. Because there's no other reason that his coworker would call him to tell him this.
right?
But then Joey kind of has like this serious like freak out moment here where he's like, "Oh, she must have got really upset and like drank and drove and like caused her to do this because I broke up with her," and like kind of runs out of the house. I'm like, "Holy shit, this is heavy." I was not expecting this to go there at all.
It wasn't good. I didn't think Joey pulled it off. It was way too abrupt and out of character. And I wrote, man, if Joey Lawrence couldn't make those lines work, he should have really tinkered with the script. I personally just didn't think that scene fit. I didn't think that's how Joey would have reacted, because it was like the switch went off and he was a completely different person. I don't know.
He
I didn't
came
like
in
it.
thinking he was a millionaire with these pieces of paper, and then all of a sudden was like, "I must have drove her to like drink and drive." Like, it was odd.
Yeah, those were weird dots to connect in like 3 seconds and then go running out of the house.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I was bummed by
cuts to Joey at the hospital visiting Sybil. He brings her flowers, asks if she wants to smell, but like her nose is broken from the car accident.
But we have Too Many Cooks Hospital.
Yeah.
And then, for as much as you talked about it, I thought you would really go in here, because we get a really long sax solo that sounds like 80s detective crime show generic music, but it's 100% a Muzak. You know, like Muzak, the company that like rips off regular songs, is a ripoff of Phil Collins. It's all the same. It's just a shame. That's all. Whatever that song is.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't catch that at all.
Shame. It's all the same. It's just a shame at all. It's that song 100%. Just like a little bit different, so they don't get sued. And they totally were just pulling copy-free like cassette tapes off some library and using it. And they were like, "Oh, this is a banger. This sounds like
totally."
I don't even know what 80s crime drama would be on.
You know, if they didn't use that song there already, then they totally would have used it as DDP's theme in WCW or something.
Right?
Yeah.
100%. That's totally where the WCW got the theme music from.
Yeah.
So Joey's goth, Sylvia Plath vegetarian, is actually like a super spunky ginger. I don't know how I got it into my head that she was goth, but I just committed to that.
I don't either, because I never put that together at all.
The only damage to this horrible car crash was her nose, and she wasn't depressed about Joey at all. She was sideswiped by an old lady, but then she goes into a dark place and talks about how she hates her parents and her nose, but now after busting it, the doctors say it will heal better, and Joey goes, "Oh, can't get any worse."
Yeah. I love the card that he gave her with the flowers said, "Dear Sybil, I'm glad your car wreck didn't kill you."
Yeah.
Just like,
fair. That's on brand for
100%
Joey.
Yeah, totally. So
but by the time he gets there, he's like regular Joey again, right?
Yeah, he's like not panicked. It's
just that. I don't know. They must have done 100 takes, and they were just like, "Hey, let's go super serious, bigger, Joey, bigger."
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes though about Sybil here, where she's talking like she has severe depression, but like talking about it, or like there's like punchlines to it where the audience is laughing, and I'm like,
I
don't
she's
really
kind
know
of
if
referencing like we know that already when we don't.
Yeah, it was weird.
I don't know.
And that's it for Sybil here. So Joey's home. He's telling Nick about Sybil, and then he's like talking to Nick about how he like has a good support system at home, which I guess Sybil doesn't have. And then he brings up an imaginary friend named Bobby, which went to a very Joey place. I don't know if you took notes on that.
Yeah, I tracked a little bit of it.
He basically said like whenever he had a problem when he was younger, he'd go to Bobby first, and then he'd go to his mom, and then Nick was always the last resort. But now that Bobby ended in tragedy and mom ran away, he's thankful that he has Nick. And Nick's like, "Oh yeah," they kind of have like this father-son moment where he's like, "Oh, thank you." He's like, "Yeah, it took me a while to trust you though, especially after you ran over Bobby." And the crowd loved it. The
Because they're
crowd ate the
children.
shit.
And I was
Yeah.
like, credit where it's due. Mercer is writing for his audience. I'll give him that. I wonder if he knew this was going to be a day where like a bunch of like grade 7 schools got like a tour and got to sit in on like a taping. So he
I don't know,
tinkered his
man.
script.
Either that or they were like, we have to bring in our key demographic as the audience every week to like laugh at the jokes.
Did
But
you
yeah, they
notice
loved
though?
it. They loved that Bobby thing.
Did you notice though when he came back home, Nick was scrubbing the top of the piano, and I said, "Yeah, I probably should have done it a couple weeks ago after you had sex with Dollar Tree Reba McEntire on it."
Yeah, right? Totally.
Right? And
His
then I wrote,
sick friend
also,
Sammy.
also, what the hell happened to Blossom and Vinny?
Yeah.
They just got completely taken over by this story.
Yeah, it's a back
Nick
burner.
and Joey are having a heart-to-heart. I noted that they're both wearing red shirts for some reason. I don't know why, that just looked weird to me. He ran over Joey's imaginary friend Bobby. The children of the crowd ate it up. Joey is walking upstairs, and I expected him to slip on a banana peel.
Right?
Dad is washing the windows upstairs. This is a new scene. And Six and
Yeah.
Blossom walk into the living room, and we see Mannequin Dad fall
Yeah.
past the window downstairs. And I
Fall,
said,
yeah.
"All right,
So
Mercer,
he
you
fell
got
out
one."
the
I
window on
popped
the
big
second
for that
floor.
one, even though I knew it was
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, so then they walk up to Blossom's room and the window's open and Blossom's like, "Oh, my dad must have left the window open." It's like he's dying in the bushes below. And I guess she's gonna go to a party tomorrow and see Vinny there. And then she keeps bringing up Vinny, and Six is trying to change the subject on it. And all I could focus on was like the old ass computer that she had on her desk.
I was also focused on that, and I was like, you know what, Six? I'm sick of hearing about this as well. Like, talk about
Yeah.
anything else. Let's move on. I
Yeah.
hope this is the end of
Yeah.
the character, but I guess it's not. But then suddenly Blossom leans forward and goes, "Sex! That's what the answer is." And Six goes, "I can't wait to hear the question." I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to have this actual, like, serious moment here, or like a teenage lesson where out of nowhere, like, should I put out to keep him? And Blossom has this breakthrough, though, that the 17-year-old cool guy who started drinking when he was 12 probably wants a girlfriend who will sleep with him, right? And to be fair, I look back and I don't know. I guess he was kind of grooming her. Like, I don't know. They just leave this so open-ended, like why he suddenly got cold on her.
Yeah, and I just
They're
don't
asking us to
understand
do
how
a
we're
lot of work with this
supposed
storyline.
how we're supposed to root for this character and be like, we want Blossom and Vinny to get together. Like they're doing a really piss poor job at making us be able to root for this guy, you know?
But they're like finally having a like serious moment for this storyline, but they're not like explaining it at all. Like, I
No.
don't know. It's a serious moment just because of the mood and the delivery and the music, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be learning here. They're not.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of information. So I was like, okay, looking back, I was like, okay, so is he like trying to be the nice guy, thinking eventually she'd sleep with him, and then when she didn't, then he's like, okay, well, we're gonna see other people, but they never really.
Yeah, but even if that was the
explain
case, they didn't do enough to explain that was coming, right?
So I really don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But are you
Yeah,
ready
and
for
I
some
said,
more
at least
slapstick?
any second now, Nick is gonna come hopping through the scene with a mop bucket on his foot and a coat hanger in the back of his shirt.
You weren't far off. So he's the next scene. He's down in the living room again, wearing a neck brace, and then he's got like this giant industrial-sized vacuum.
And it
And I just
actually
wrote,
says
"What
Acme
is this
on it.
slap?" Yeah,
It
it
actually
might as
says
well have.
Acme. Like, we've just given up. We've gone
Yeah.
full on Roadrunner and Coyote.
Yeah, and he sucks up the curtain by accident and then just kind of like gives up. He's like, "Well, I guess I'm done cleaning here." And then Blossom and Vinny are at the front door, and they wouldn't discuss what they were doing the night that they weren't hanging out with each other. And then Blossom goes into the story about how her and Six hung out with these guys, and Vinny's getting all jealous. And then I don't know, man. All I wrote here was like, "Why is this guy around? He sucks."
This guy sucks.
Yeah, like I don't get it. And like his whole takeaway here is like he thought that they agreed that he could see other people and Blossom couldn't, but like she's still interested in this guy. Like I don't I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm out. I'm tapping out on this.
100%. I was angry at this point too.
Yeah.
So they're talking about how they're not going to talk about what happens when they aren't together. And Blossom suddenly figures out that he's sensitive about this and starts giving him some of his own dick medicine, acting like she went out last night and met some guys. And Vinny is livid. So they settle down and he goes, I thought we agreed that we would see other people. Or no, he says, I thought we agreed that I would see other people. And the girls in the crowd loved that. Like, they went crazy for him getting, like, being like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
so I kind of like that moment because I was like, you know what? This is what this show should be. Here's a dumb teenage boy who wants to sleep with her and she won't sleep with him. So now he's going to go act like he's going to go date other people when he's probably actually not. That was probably just like another thing to try to get her to sleep with him. And when it's backfiring on him now, it's like he's an idiot and looking dumb and jealous and like, yeah, cheer females. That's what this show should be instead of talking about the loser guy and his nude model girlfriend. Like, this is kind of, we should be doing a better job of it, but this is what we should be focusing on for this show. Like, this is bad boy who pretends to be sweet, but really just wants to sleep with her. And I feel like that's what they're trying to do with this character now. When that,
Right.
like, they pivoted it somewhere along the line, because that's like, I don't know. I hate this character.
I do too.
They're trying to
And
bring
we're
in
like,
shades of gray. When it doesn't need shades of gray, because I'm just
Yeah.
confused.
yeah. We're 4 episodes in with Vinny, and I'm already done with him.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like we're getting gaslit by this character
Yeah.
who's trying to gaslit Blossom, but also not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want it to be gone.
Yeah. So now Blossom and Six are up in her room, and it must be later that night or something. And there's a voiceover on the TV saying, and so Amelia Earhart is still living and dancing in the Isle of Samoa. This is Bill Bixby. Good night. And then they go on this rant about Bill Bixby.
Did you
What's
clock
going
it?
on? What, Bill Bixby?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the
Okay, good.
director from. Yeah, I have a whole thing on.
I
Bill
was going to get
Bixby here.
Phenom to look it up because I just didn't have it in me, but go ahead.
No, Bill Bixby started directing Blossom starting in season 3. And I don't know if this was like a big get for the show or something that they had Bill Bixby. Bill Bixby is an actor, director, and host. He's most famous. He played David Bruce Banner in the Incredible Hulk series with Lou Ferrigno. He hosted a number of 90s documentaries, including The Elvis Files, which debated the strange cases that Elvis was able to fake his death in 1977 and still be alive. So I guess he was known as like the mystery conspiracy theory host guy, but they must have been psyched to have him as a director on the show. So they really crammed him into this like last scene in the episode here, talking about Bill Bixby the whole time.
Well, it failed because I had no idea who that was.
Yeah,
And I felt like I should, and yeah, that was like a full house joke from last episode. Where
it was odd.
They pushed it in for their own amusement. No one
But he
else's.
directed the previous episode, and looking it up, he directs a bunch of episodes in season 3 and 4. So
Can I pop
I don't
in
know.
with
They,
another Bill
they
Bixby
scored
fact?
Bill Bixby on Blossom. So sorry, go ahead. I cut
Can
you
I
off.
pop in with another Bill Bixby fact?
Let's hear it.
I'm looking through the Wikipedia page for all the episodes, and on the season 4 episode, Let's Talk About Sex, it says, note, this episode was the last to air before director Bill Bixby's death from prostate cancer. The day this episode aired, Bixby collapsed on the set while directing the episode Meat and died 6 days later.
Oh my God. He died doing Blossom?
And Salt and Pepper came back
collapsed on
for
the set of
another
Blossom.
episode.
Sorry?
I said, and Salt and Pepper came back for another episode. It's called Let's Talk About Sex. That was their hit
Right.
song.
Totally.
Salt and Pepper killed Bill Bixby.
So that's what we
Oh
have
my
to look
God.
forward to in season 4, I guess.
Oh my God. We got to do like a whole deep dive when we get to that.
Wow,
That's
hey,
crazy.
Thanks, Phenom. That was incredible.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't get any of those facts. Okay.
Huh.
It's Bill Bixby.
Oh, wow. He has a bigger impact on the show than I thought. I assume that was just like this week's celebrity that they had to zero in on and dunk on for no reason.
Yeah.
I
don't
remember
know,
when
man.
that used to be fun. Like in season 1 when they'd have like this low key kind of subtle dig at another show or another actor that was popular at the time. But now it's just like straight in your face. I don't
Yeah.
like Drew Barrymore. Like there's just no
it's not even
finesse to it
subtle
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you got for the end of the episode? They
Said they're having a sleepover and she's telling Six to lie tomorrow and say they were out on a double date and we have 1 minute left. This is how it's going to end because Six needs to know all the details about this fake date. and what the fake boys
Right.
looked like. And we do see, though, that story editor Jonathan Schmuck once again.
Okay. Well,
This week's
that's,
lesson. I
let's hear
always
it.
complain about the lack of long-term storytelling over a syndicated show like this. You know, we live episode to episode. There's a problem and it's resolved by the end, by 23 minutes later. And oh, how I beg, we have a story arc that goes 5 or 6 shows. Vinnie is that story arc, and I hate it. It's not what I wanted. I thought it's what I wanted, and I don't. Turns out you have to have some sort of actual long-term vision if you're going to do a long-term storyline, and I feel like they did not have that with Vinnie. So,
No.
if you're going to write a long-term storyline, you know, start at the back, start at the end, and work backwards over the season. Don't just make it up as you go, as you hand the writing off from random person to random person who clearly were never in the same room, because every episode so far, Vinnie has been a completely different character, and it's really hurting the show for me for this season.
It's a great observation, and I would definitely agree with that for sure.
I cannot wait for the day you tell me Rhonda, Joe, or Vinnie are in the pit, and I never have to talk about them again. But the horrors persist, do they not, Sal?
It's not going to be this week, unfortunately, Curtis. We have one pit member, Lisa Riefel, played Sybil, and this is her only episode.
Yeah. I found her way more interesting than Rhonda Joe Applegate, to be honest.
Nah. Well, that's because you thought she was a goth.
Well, and she had a bad nose, and she doesn't like her parents, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
she's got
more
something
than
there.
I wear a tank top, which is all Rhonda Joe Applegate brings to the table every episode.
Right.
Character
Well, what do
depth.
we got next week? We got more Vinny. We got more Rhonda Joe.
Next week we got season 3, episode 4. What price, love? Question mark.
There's a
What?
sale on question marks this season.
I guess so.
Two
What
episodes
price?
in a row ending with love? Question mark.
Mercer's going through some stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be a schmuck episode. We can only pray. Season 3, Sal, she's been bumpy. There's been I haven't hated it, but it's probably been equal parts good, equal parts bad. They really need to, I don't know, get on the same page. I feel
Yeah,
like
they got to step it up. It's been a rough start so far.
yeah, they need to drop this long story arc, I guess. Which is something again I thought I wanted, but I don't. They don't have the forethought to pull this off. They need to
It
drop.
doesn't seem like it.
They need to stop putting these little things in that make you think are going to pay off later. Like, is Vinny's dad abusing him? We don't know. That never went anywhere. We don't know. Are they still together, Vinny and Blossom, and just seeing other people? I don't know. I don't like how open ended it is, because I don't feel like it's I don't feel like there's a big payoff coming. I feel like they're just spinning their tires right now, trying to figure out what to do.
Agreed. Let's hope it gets better from here.
Yes. These are sitting at a solid 6 out of 10, these last few.
No 8 out of 10 like that season 2 finale.
No,
From
that
like
was
4
that was
weeks
a
ago,
very
right?
highly rated episode.
Yeah.
Would you have thought it was highly rated if IMDb didn't beat us over the head with it? With a big IMDb sticker on it?
No.
No? Yeah.
I don't know.
Fair.
Do people like Vinny? Like, I don't understand. Did people like
he
Vinny
has
in
been
that
the
game?
worst. I don't even know the worst. Just the most bizarre character. You could
Yeah.
not have picked a worse boyfriend for Blossom to play off of.
Well, let's hope we
he's
get a good Buzz episode next week. We're actually
Hopefully.
like hoping for Buzz now.
I know. I hate that.
Look-
I
look
hate
where
that.
this
That's
show's
what this
gotten
show
us.
has done to us. I was like, less Applegate and McTardy, whatever his name is, and more Buzz.
Yeah.
Like the last 3 episodes, Buzz watching a porn has been the funniest part. And I hate living in the world where that's a reality, but that's what's happened so far in season 3. Right?
Agreed. I couldn't agree more.
All right.
Love it.
We continue. See you next week.
Don't know